pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Minutes for prior meeting. Has everybody got a chance to review the minutes?
I didn't get quite through.
Okay.
I don't see anything.
Review them really quickly and
Struble is misspelled.
Huh?
Cook flat and Struble.
S-T-R-O-B-E-L?
Correct. You said it correctly. It's not that true.
Oh, it's not half written.
What's over? It's somebody's last name. I don't know.
no, my partner is
Spelling, you know, kids ask the origin of the word. Yeah. I would not do without any spelling bee. I wouldn't either.
That's all I see.
yeah, just one misspelling.
But typographical correction, Mr. Chairman, I would move we approve the minutes from Tuesday, July 29th with that correction.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Carried 3-0. Any committee reports?
I got one coming up August 21st, JCAD.
Jake? Okay.
No, I don't have any. They've been, not to go to any CAT meeting, but any other committee meetings to report on.
I did attend the Joint Communications
Oh, yes.
meeting in place of Mike who's out of town, and they're the 800 megahertz system, which is a big piece of their budget in 2015. They're isolating and finding out how many radios they need countywide with each department, each agency, and then also they're going to be getting a firm number on the radio tower, or the communications tower.
That they're going to mount on the water tower.
Correct. And so I think once they get those two prices calculated, they'll be able to come up with a firm number, and then Rita Hartnell was there. I think it was consensus. Once they get that final number, we'd have a joint meeting with the city of Atchison. They wanted to at some point here pretty quickly. They thought here in the next 2-3 weeks. So
To approve that part of the budget,
to discuss, review, and approve.
do we, because I'm saying, do we need to include, because the other cities need to be, it's either that or Jackson needs to get out and communicate to the other city. I mean, they're part of the sales tax, and I think they need to be a part of the understanding how much we're all contributing to this project. So it may even be that we end up just calling the county seven and have them all come in. I mean, but we wouldn't necessarily have to have a meal. You still could have an evening, deal at 7 o'clock, 6:30, 7 o'clock, and, so. But I think they, because I know some of them are, if they haven't done their budgets, they don't want to do their budget because it may make a difference in their budgets, how much of their sales tax money that they're going to contribute to the project, versus what they've already got contributed to their general budget. So we probably need to include them in on that too. But as far as us, it's mainly us, and the city has to approve the budget. But
Correct. Yeah, that's the way it's written. And that's just a suggestion of the committee. That's just
I think it's great.
I'm just relaying what they had indicated. So they should go in the next 7 days, probably have some firm numbers. So.
I'll see some of the people at the fair, and I'll just mention to them that we need to get them involved and get them educated. Is when Jack gets some figures, and maybe we can even do that at the joint meeting and stuff. And when he has the final figures, and we kind of know, but then they know how much to contribute. So.
That looked like, I don't know if you saw the same numbers, it looked like maybe only about 90,000 was coming out of joint, or the number one funds out of that budget. Did you see that same thing too?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, there's something about, I think Jack said on that was the based on some either change in the law or whatever, misinterpretation, there was a certain
Yes.
amount of that, of some of the operating budget that we used to use 911 funds for.
Mhm.
It can't be used, so the sales tax is gonna have to make some of that. It really wasn't as significant as I thought earlier, because even with the salary proposals to get some of the 911 operators up to snuff, that budget didn't go up that much. It's the capital outlay budget is what's gonna be, the volume of radios is what's gonna impact that budget more than anything else, so.
Yeah, there was some discussion with that. I directed maybe to either touch base with you and or some KEC distributes, those funds as far as, since we've had 3 different sets of legislation with the 911 funds as far as what they can be used for.
At least, yeah.
Separating out the dollars, the amount of dollars that came in, you know, over the last few years, that legislation, because, right now they're in the belief they can only use about 90,000 towards those purchases, or actually towards the whole budget, to be honest with you, that's, we'll try to be patient, so.
Yeah, I know KHC has, some guidance on that, Louis Langman, their staff council.
I think they're the oversight, I think they were the approved oversight, I think on that, or correct?
Yeah, so they are pretty good at the equipment.
Yeah. So I just suggested maybe they discuss with Melissa, and they might touch base with you a little bit on that as well.
Sure.
So just so you know. Other than that, that's the only one we had. Okay, so we've got, she's looking up at 1:30. We should ask some questions of our visiting members here, if they have any questions for us before we.
Well, I'm here to protest.
No, they're in a Boy Scout troop.
Oh,
And
okay.
for a couple of their merit badges, one of the requirements is to attend a public meeting.
Okay.
And so it fills a requirement for 2 different merit badges, so they're trying to finish up some they've been working on. And I thought there were gonna be a few more, but they may straggle, and, because they're juggling soccer practices and part-time jobs and all the rest of it. They're trying to get them finished before they go back to school.
Yeah, just having it quick.
Yeah, next week, so.
Okay. Well, welcome to the county commission meeting. Just kind of what we're going through right now, we have, agenda, typically, it's generally set, generally by Friday or the weekend before, commission meeting on Tuesdays, and obviously, the pledge of allegiance, we do it every meeting now, and, we also approved the minutes from the last meeting. That's what, there was some discussion a little bit earlier on approval of minutes from the previous meeting, then we get into, if there's any committee reports. All of us are on different boards, commissions around the community, so we report to different ones. Oh, okay. Yeah, introduce yourselves. You could just, everybody could just introduce yourselves.
Okay, I'm Marcia Wagner.
I'm Cindy Wagner. I'm Jenna Payne.
I'm Connor Wilson.
Did you get a list for me?
Some favor, too, I couldn't hear.
Can you speak up a little bit louder?
I mean, like, you're Marcia Wagner.
Marcia Wagner.
Sydney.
Sydney?
Chandler Pennington.
Okay, say that one again.
Chandler Pennington.
Chandler?
Yes.
Connor Wilson.
Okay. Thank you.
If you guys ever wanna hear yourselves or see yourselves, you can go to our website and where we record every meeting, so.
So you're on TV, you see the back, you see the back of your heads, right?
Probably, yeah. So what we're doing now is, usually we schedule meeting times or agenda, on our agenda, we have, specified meetings, so we are currently waiting on our county treasurer, supposed to be coming up here at 1:30, so we're a little bit ahead of schedule.
We've had some discussion about the hunting at the county lake. I've got a question on the listserv.
Yeah.
None of the counties that responded allow hunting, so I don't know if any counties that allow hunting, trapping on their lands. If appears that most allow fishing, if they have a lake. Johnson apparently does, Douglas does.
Where's Johnson?
Sedgwick.
Where's Johnson County?
Well, let me read here. I don't know where it is, but they have the Johnson County Park and Recreation District, and their hunting restriction was, no person shall in any manner pursue, catch, injure, kill, trap, or molest any wildlife within the boundaries of the district facilities. Furthermore, no person shall remove or take any wildlife from the boundaries of the district facilities. A, doesn't apply to law enforcement officers or district employees, blah, blah, blah. And B, the section shall not apply to hunting, trapping, or relocation done in accordance with official duties and responsibilities of the Kansas Department of Wildlife and Parks. And then C, this section shall not apply to lawful fishing. So I took from that they had someplace where they allow fishing, but maybe not. Douglas County does, and they prohibit. I thought I took our stuff from Pratt County, but it looks like maybe Pratt took it from Douglas. I figured out who got it first, but it's the same language. It looks like Riley County doesn't have any.
How many did you find? How many county lakes did you find?
I didn't do a search, or I didn't even ask that question. I know Shawnee does. I know they don't have any company.
I thought when I did a search, and I'd come up with, I know there's one or two out west somewhere, but otherwise, most of them are in the eastern part, and,
I'm really concerned that if anything else is at the lake while there's hunting going on, and,
the one question I failed to ask was, would it change how many signatures if they said $2,500 to have a lifetime hunting rights, and then it would just turn over to 300 signatures, that way you use, and then better way to pay $2,500 for a lifetime hunting rights, so
well, I think,
take care of the problem.
I think the police knew it too, is difficult for our fishermen or something.
Well, all I'm saying, yeah, they let the fishing, the hunting go there. There's a lot of out-of-county people in there.
Are there?
Oh, yeah. There's some Jackson County. Even bet you there's several people even know what that means.
Kansas Department of Wildlife and Parks says there are more than 200 small lakes owned by communities in Kansas. And they divide the county, the state into 6 parts, it looks like. Atwood, Belleville City, Colby City, Ellis City, Graham County, Jewell City, Logan City, Plainville Township, Sherman County, St. Francis Keller Lake, Salina Indian Rock Lake, Salina Lakewood Lake, and Hayes Vineyard Park Pond. Our district is region 2. I didn't keep any track, it would say how many were counties. But in our district, Alma City, it says Atchison City Lakes, and it lists 1 through 4, 6 to 9, and 24, so those are watershed names. Atchison County Lake, Baldwin, Bonner Springs, Centralia, Johnson County, Douglas County, Donovan County, Edgerton City, Edgerton, Bridgewater, Eskridge, Gardner, Hardyville, Harrington, City Lake Old, Harrington City Lake New, Harrington, Father Padilla Hiawatha City, Fulton,
Where's Dauphin County?
They don't have to, it probably was
Said Dauphin County.
that's Troy, 4-H Lake.
for each way.
Oh, okay.
Jackson
See,
County,
there's a state, there's two in Brown County, but one of them city owns, and the other is the state road, just like what we got. It says Brown County State Road, just like the Madison County State Road, it's a state road in a certain county.
not many of these need to be counties. Dawson County looks like has 4, 5, 6.
Yeah, probably like cities though.
Well, Antioch Park, Kill Creek Park Ponds, north and south.
Lake Olathe, Shawnee Mission Park. Right there.
Shawnee Mission Park Lake, Shawnee Mission Ponds, Lowell Park. Olathe has Frisco Lake and Lake Olathe.
Yeah,
Olathe, Mojave Farmstead Pond,
yeah.
Olathe Prairie Center Park Pond, Olathe Waterworks Park Lake, Olathe Stagecoach Park Pond. So there's a ton of them, yes. Potawatomi County looks like they have a lake. Shawnee County has 2. Lake Shawnee and Shawnee Junior.
So is there any suggestions on the, Pat drafted up that resolution?
There were some things in there that I needed some direction on. We had talked some about whether to add something about the trash,
I think that's what in
to
there.
remove it. Well, I think on the last page, I think there were about 4 items that I just put the items down and we can discuss them.
I think Dennis is picking it up himself now, taking it out, right? So- You get that? Yeah, number 3 I think was critical.
Yeah, that's one of my agreements.
Like, Gail had asked me a question last week, what if we just have a group of people, like just say a large family, how does that affect something like that?
Well, if they call it like a reunion together, and still be together,
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's a complete grade. Because, a family going out there to have lunch would qualify as a family reunion with, well, that would go with sisters together. I'm not exactly sure where that dividing line is, but
What about a group like, the Boy Scouts, I think, camp out there? I mean, what do you do about groups like that?
well, I'm sure have insurance.
Okay.
I think really all we can do is tell people they have to have it, and that kind of warns them that they're not covered for liability unless under ours. And it's pretty good protection in the Tort Claims Act for that as well.
Have any of you guys ever camped out Madison County Line? Usually,
Yeah.
Yeah, at least once a year, we just came out there.
Yeah.
So, those other issues, alcohol, no mention.
Where is that?
Well, it's after paragraph 20.
on 20, last page.
Seems like in the past, they always like flip-flopped, is that correct, like between different commissions? Is that kind of what, some would say none, some would allow it?
On
That's a-
alcohol?
Yeah,
I don't, they'd have to do a resolution, I don't think they can do. You mean flip-flop?
yeah, like if like commissions over time like change, they either pass a resolution to,
Bar alcohol.
correct, or you pass one to,
Well, the point is, for the rules to be effective, you have to adopt them as a resolution, you have to publish the resolution, and you have to post them there, so. I don't think any of that's happened. So I don't think there are really any rules.
Well, that's what we've got, a concern of, is really, the rules are set from day to day by the caretakers almost.
yeah, several, Kansas Law from park places around the state that you do. I think typically the ban bottles is typically what you do.
We, paragraph 17 bans glass containers.
Yeah. That's pretty common, I see in a lot of Kansas wildlife and parks. Registration's a good thing, I mean, if we don't have like an organized reservation system or charging people, at least you should have some sort of registration just to know
Who's there?
Well, but doing that puts a administrative burden on the caretakers, and it's just an additional job they have to do, so.
would be a
uh,
less of a burden than hunting, I would think, hunting and trapping supervision.
You just have the form to fill out and turn back in. I don't know, they have to, does there have reservation? Be nice to have registration, have track of who's there.
What if we have some sort of system in the new CIC?
Okay, so,
registration just for overnight, or just for anybody who,
sort of use the facilities, yeah, we
Yeah.
don't really use the facilities.
Could that be something, you just have like in a mailbox, where the guy would stop with the papers or leave the papers, so it would
Well,
affect the caretakers.
I sign up, please register at the,
and initially, they're probably gonna have to take the form, I mean, some people don't pull it there, because it's not something to be new, they're gonna have to take it in the form. Just fill it out, make it pretty simple, you know, where they're from, how many people's involved, and I think it's just good records for us to see how much it's used. Approximately, stuff like that.
you can make it pretty simple. I mean, just as long as you know, I would say people that are staying overnight or with the fence and shoot.
Yeah.
I don't know, if somebody's just like driving through fishing for the day, I don't know if you necessarily need it.
Getting back to alcohol, it's common sense, if you have no alcohol, you're gonna eliminate part of your problems, but if you have it in there, no alcohol, are we gonna have the caretakers have the sheriffs and deputies running out there every other day if they see somebody with can beer?
I don't know, it's a good question.
do you want names, or just the number of people in the group?
No, you have to have
I
at least,
just say approximate number of your party, make that close enough.
at least one person's name, I would think, or group or organization. It'd be a good record keeping too for, those larger, but, larger groups, 50, they're having organized events where they have to have liability, it'd be good. You could probably have a small box on there or something like that.
Okay. Trash? Do we provide cans or anything like that?
There's 2 barrels out there. Yeah, he's got 2 barrels, I don't think it's very many. He's handling it okay though, I think, isn't he?
So far, yeah. I think one of those says, discarding trash, of any kind to lake. Number 5 says failure to pick up and bring other trash from space. So that part of it is spelled out pretty clear.
I think one of you had the idea of sort of having them check in and get a barrel to take with them or container.
That was earlier talked about, but if, I think let's see how this works out first and see how we, because that gets into, if you haven't had a deposit on that, then you get an exchange of money and stuff, so.
Any reservations, no?
No.
I don't see a need for requirement,
Not-
at least register.
Yeah.
Yeah, the electric and water is, say, 5 lots, and that would be a must, but where there's no electric and water, pretty much free camping, I wouldn't think we're
I've
recommendation.
never heard a complaint today, if nobody's found it towards that.
Yeah.
I just don't think that's an issue at this point.
Mhm.
If they just add something on registration, and we'd be ready to, go.
Okay.
We'll put that on next Tuesday's agenda.
Yeah.
Following next Tuesday, put on the, resolution for rules of the county ways.
Regular session,
Regular session, oh, yes.
what time?
Do anything scheduled next week?
No, I don't have anything scheduled.
Just, do it right at the beginning, I guess.
1:30.
1:30?
1:30. I do it 1:30 in case somebody's not there.
Okay.
Sheila's here.
Yep, we got Sheila here, so we're ready for you.
They're just observing.
Yeah, they're
Oh,
Boy Scouts.
okay.
No, you should be. This is Sheila Overback, who is our county treasurer.
She handles the money,
Yeah.
everything goes through her. They're here to observe public meetings.
Okay, okay. I don't know if that's what
Okay. There's a discussion on setting up funds and whose responsibility it is.
We need to clarify that, I mean, we're here together, because with Jack's deal, there is a new law that money he gets.
Actually, it is mine. I mean, somebody to tell me they want it done, that I know, because it's a, bookkeeping, financial.
I mean, it's your responsibility to set up the new account.
Right, right. And I know Pauline and I did it together, and she usually let me know if there was any fund, you guys want to fund or something.
Okay.
She would set it up on her side, and I set it up on my side, so our bookkeeping would stay balanced and stuff.
Do you need any kind of paper trail? I think that one of our discussions here was, is do we need a, you know, under this kind of situation, do we need anything like a paper trail to notify you now that Jack, because this just happened, I think, in July. This just became effective in July. They changed some wording. It basically said that the sheriff, you know, that goes, he can have account, or he can have account for it.
I just need to basically know like what accounts you need, and I mean, I know it's already been set up, so we didn't know that until when we brought the money over.
Right.
We didn't know what to do with it.
Well,
We didn't know
I
that.
guess, in a way, I mean, I appreciate you, you know, catching that, because somebody, anyhow, needs to come in and say, we want this account set up. I mean,
Right.
don't you think it probably should come through us?
Yeah, I think something should come through you, because I don't know, like, as far as a budgetary violation or anything like that, I don't know
Mhm.
anything about that,
Right.
so I think it should come from you saying, hey, Sheila, we're gonna get these funds set up, we need like these types of accounts put in there, you know, and then,
Okay.
Mhm.
and then get them set up.
Yeah, that's where discussion came with that form, having some sort of just something that says, hey, this is what we're trying to do. Just kind of have something like a paper trail, or
Yeah.
they could be electronic, just something where it tracks what's going on.
Yeah.
So,
No, I would know what I'm supposed to do, or whatever.
yeah.
Okay. Well, and we wanted to get that cleared up, because it seems to be a miscommunication. We weren't aware that this new statute come into play in July and stuff.
Heard on the radio, one other county had it or something a while back, but, you
Mhm.
know, I didn't know.
Yeah, Pat has given us, I think, some documentation, more background on it, because it was, all we were saying was part of a Senate bill, but then they had updated that recently on the statutes.
So we just give you direction to go ahead, you're okay think we're all on board, you know, just so, we want to make sure everybody's on the same page, that we weren't superseding your jurisdiction, which, you know, we knew you had to do this, you know, just want to make sure that we have a problem, you know, some of the process that we need to go through, so. As far as we're concerned, if he can set that up for them, money. We agree then, that he can go ahead and set up and for this Ben money to go into.
I think he already did.
Well, okay, wait, that's the question, is whether, because we'd understood that you questioned whether, what to do with it, so, and we didn't know whether you had to
Yeah, we
set
just
that.
didn't need to know that there was one set up.
Okay.
That's why we were questioning what was going on.
And that's good, that's fine.
Actually,
So if it is set up, I mean, but did you set it up, or he set it up? or
Wes
he
set it up.
Wes set it up, okay.
I think that was one of the questions too.
Okay.
Who
Who should-
actually,
I think it should come from us,
Right, and then me actually do the actual setting it up.
and then you do the setting up, yeah.
That way we can put it in our books and everything, and have it,
And then-
track it, you know, so we can there and know where the money goes. And
Exactly, so, okay, well, I think that's what we wanted to put up first, so that takes care of that. So if it's already set up, okay, but in the future, well, we need to try to monitor that, so you're not taking this thought of me. And somebody said, well, this can't, you know, we need to have justification, or it needs to come from the commission,
Right,
so.
yeah, making sure. Okay, you guys.
Well, yeah, we need to make sure, I mean, Jack did provide us with a statute to show that he swung into law in January, so, or July, so that's kind of what we need, yeah. I mean, some of those things slip under the radar, we don't think those are needed, so, but, we think we probably got enough accounts anyway, we don't need to. And the less accounts simplifies your job too, as far as anything else. Okay. All right, that's all we need. Thank you, Sheila.
We have, Sheila, do you have like the estimate, I guess on,
What is it?
yeah, for the budgeting, you know, we always get that, you give us like that allocation sheet of how MVT funds is budgeted out, do you have that?
I have it.
You have it? Okay. Okay, never mind, thank you.
Did you send Patsy our signed version of the letter of engagement? She needed a copy of that.
I never got it.
It should have been that packet of stuff.
Yeah.
It should be in the packet.
I thought we had it all. because we-
Yeah,
I
that's right.
always go through the packet when I,
Because, yeah, nobody else was. Did we lay it on the desk or something?
If we did, it should be on there.
on my desk.
No, well, yeah.
We are,
we-
yes, there. I thought it was in the packet.
I thought it was in the packet too.
I usually go through my packet. I will look again. I usually try to go through the packet, if I can get rid of letters or something.
Mm-hmm.
What's it, was it in last week?
I think it was last week that we did that.
No, I don't know what it was, it's a week ago. I'm looking here at the minutes, but I thought I remember reading it in the minutes.
Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure we have that in there.
It was approved, we probably signed on July 22nd. That's when the minutes reflected to accept the proposal.
Okay, I know.
Do you still have a copy, meaning we need to sign it?
I'll look at, I'll look.
Well, look, we may still have, because she gave a copy to us, so. She was just, when she was up here early this morning to get some numbers from his wife, she had never received her copy, and we knew we approved it, so. Do you know what you still got in?
You could do this if it's just.
In your emails now?
Yeah, I'm sure I got email digital copies, but we don't have the signed copy.
And it's going to.
No, we
I'll-
can print it
I'll go
off and
downstairs.
re-sign it.
I'll go downstairs, I'm gonna, let you know.
Right.
Oh, yeah, Courtney. Are you gonna sign off on that?
Yeah, why don't we get Courtney up here and then we're gonna sign it off. You?
She's the one that likes to see but don't like to see.
Yeah.
What did you say?
You're the person we like to see but don't like to see. Your smiling face, but you bring us bills.
Yeah.
There's not a tree this time, so it shouldn't be bad.
Oh, we're getting our spending under control, aren't we?
This is Courtney Calhoun, she works in our administration department. She's responsible for accounts payable, so this is just this 1 week or 2 weeks worth?
1 week.
Yeah, so this is like 1 week's worth of bills right here roughly, so. They're going to help you the rest of the day. They're,
They saw some stuff for me.
yeah, we always have stuff to spot.
Wash your windows, sweep the floor. Boy Scouts are here observing the public meeting.
How's it going so far with the weekly?
Good. I think it's going a lot better.
Yeah.
I like it more than what it was before.
That's good. We keep life a little bit better. We keep getting the little bugs out of the system.
You probably have a advantage coming on new to, learning this.
But really, it's not that hard. It's new for everybody, so.
Well, your reports are in a little bit different format, and it's a little bit hard to,
And there's
hard to
so
digest.
many,
Yeah.
so many of them. Liz, do you guys know how much longer we'll have, the AT&T bill? Isn't that all gonna be switched over to just one?
Yeah, that's a good question, because I think we were still waiting on AT&T to port stuff over. That should be coming any time now.
We asked Southwest, and he said anytime now, but
It's supposed to happen here for the month of August. I think it's been AT&T side is where
It's
that's,
supposed to happen in February.
which would be nice, because
Yeah.
a lot of our departments with budgets have been putting in phone and internet billing, which I think is gonna
Right.
change drastically. It should be a lot lower. I can't remember if Wes had said he was trying to use a formula with like so many phones per office or per department. I think was trying to put some sort of charge
Okay.
what it is, but that's a good question. I don't know, Kyle, is he here today?
Not here, I think it's in Effingham.
Okay.
And then Wes is off all week.
Yeah, Wes.
We'll just reprint though.
Huh?
We'll try to get a reprint of the copy, and
Okay.
she sent us all an email. Just to look over, huh? Right. We didn't give you, I don't know, through my budget stuff, and knows as much crap as I got in that folder, and made that stuff in there.
Yeah.
I did too, my dad. sign it and send it, but I don't.
Cause I never put an amount to it, I don't remember. I didn't really say the amount.
Is it warm again?
It says check paper size, so it's so is it bigger than an 8.5 by 8?
Yeah, it was like something like A4, so it should print out enough.
It was an 8.5 by 11?
That's why I just sent it to you, I sent the letter size. It was,
I'm gonna cancel it, maybe, yeah, it's okay, maybe this will come through. Oh, you got two of them.
yeah.
So I didn't date that July 22nd. Sign that, so one, maybe you take.
All three of us. All
I
three of
don't,
us.
did you just have one signature? I think we authorized you.
We authorize you to sign it. That's,
Paul, we put one in file, we take one down by our office or something. Okay.
Yeah, it was, as long as you're by, that's the main one. You have to have it published 10 days prior. So that would make it 15. So we're gonna use Pauline, is that what?
I give one to Pauline, we'll take the other one back, I think you have a copy of it.
Okay.
Copy of the net,
That's what I get, is you know, check together, that's what I say, that's true, that's it, one copy of this one. Unless you want to make sure.
We'll give it back.
You'll have a copy, and then we'll take a copy.
Are you taking that one?
We'll take,
Okay.
do it.
Well, we're looking through all the bills, so we're reviewing them and then signing off on bills, a weekly process that we have to do. Some bills are bigger than others, so. They were still funding, when they got, so 3 days later, something like that. Whatever it was, we won.
You're good for a week? You too.
Should have Warren Hall Board of Trustees.
Did they come this morning?
No, we didn't. I saw Dick walk on Thursday. He's been sick, and he told me he was coming up at 10 this morning, and they never showed.
This is gonna be concerned, that was on the budget thing, but this is for the possible renovation of the door behind that one.
I mean, today's appointment was made by Joe last week.
I guess we shall see, because I think you were looking for some information from them as well.
Well, KCAM sends me a yearly reminder if we have preliminaries on any properties that we either rent or rent out, if we were to rent water to them. So, since, John, what's his first name?
Joe?
Tom.
Joe.
Joe.
Is gone, I haven't heard
He's still there, isn't he?
Well, I don't know.
Kinda. He's, I think off and on.
Maybe transitioning out, yeah.
Okay.
I'm not exactly sure. He's no longer our point of contact, but his email address still, they're working last time I read it, the email, so.
Here we go. Hey, Leonard. Are you guys?
Oh, up here, I want you up here.
Come around down on the easy chair, get on the hot seats.
Everybody step here already?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Dick's our representative, he's the old hand.
Oh, yeah. He's old anyway.
Yeah,
A lot of people don't let him get by with that kind of stuff. There's a lot of wisdom.
We have a Boy Scout troop visiting today.
Oh, that's great.
Monitoring our.
Good.
So,
I'm an old Eagle Scout.
They're quite yet.
Yeah. Bill's gonna be
Okay,
here,
okay.
yeah.
I know you guys will interview.
He was-
so.
Yeah, I guess we are. We are.
That's his life, I guess.
We thought we were gonna be late. Didn't think how long you get up here.
Every other city council meeting this week,
Yes, it is,
We
yeah.
meet Wednesday.
Yeah, Wednesday, yeah.
probably do that.
And the fair time, or the parade time is 7:30, right? I mean, that's what we've had, two different, officially it was in the paper at 7, and then when Spider was up here, he said 7:30, so I'm telling people
Well,
7:30.
Pauline called and requested that they get it changed.
Yeah, that's fine, I just wanted to, because I'm telling some people 7:30, they're
Well,
going
they
to
said
matter.
rain this morning, I just wanted to said 7 this morning.
I don't know,
I got confused too, because
Yeah.
I swore the radio
Well,
said
just
7.
a couple of guys from the shrine have come up, and I told them 7:30, because that's what Spider says. He's the guy that I know, anybody.
Yeah, although I don't know if he does, the parade, I mean, somebody else does, or
Yeah, Darwin.
Ray.
Raymond, excuse me, Raymond, yeah, Raymond starts shouting at people, you know. Shirt tails out, unbuttoned to the middle of his front usually.
Yeah, can you find
He's a great guy.
My little nephew's 3 years old. My nephew was putting him to bed one night. He didn't want to button him. Sure to know if he got buttoned up, he would look like Raymond. Now he wants to leave it unbuttoned.
Yeah, that family's always been civic minded, Darwin and his wife, you know, and the Legion, and Darwin carried the flag for years for the Legion.
You were good.
And his dad received the Liberty Bell Award from the, one of the attorneys used to do that for all his civic work. Yeah, everybody's here.
Wait, it's 2 and 4.
All right, thank you for letting us come on.
No problem.
Thank you for attending.
There, I think you're gonna get some trick.
Sorry that wasn't more exciting.
No city government is not always exciting.
Yeah.
It's usually about as exciting as it gets, except when you have something controversial, that's usually
Yeah.
when you get.
Yeah,
Then
we
it's
don't
too
wanna-
exciting.
We don't wanna encourage it, so,
It's a
thank
little
you.
warm in here.
Yeah, standing room only, you don't want those.
Yeah.
Well, I guess everybody knows the reason that we're here. We want to talk to you about the windows and doors in the front of Memorial Hall. About getting those replaced. The other 3 sides have been replaced, as you know. And I think it would be well to finish the job and so to speak, and make the front of it, especially the side that everybody sees, look good. Joe came up with a figure of 40,000, as I understand it, to estimate to do this job. We don't have a firm bid in that respect, to my knowledge.
No, that's just a budgetary, and that should be slightly over.
Hopefully, it's going to be over.
Hopefully.
We would like to split the cost with you, we, the trustees of Memorial Hall, and as part of our contribution, we've got a $9,300 and some credit that Pat has, I think, a tax credit.
I do have it.
That's available, that could be used toward this project. And then the balance, we could come up with an extra dollars for our share.
It's whatever they can sell those for, yeah, it's probably not 93 some percent.
It'll be,
They typically sell about 90%.
so we're talking about over $8,000, that they should sell for.
And you all might be able to convince the bank to give us 100%.
Right,
Oh, yeah?
Well, why not?
right.
We talked to the bank about that.
I don't know, just tell them what they need to do.
Tell them what they need to do. Oh, okay, well, I'm glad to tell them what I think they need to do. And what they do is gonna be maybe something different, but that's okay. And anyway, I wanted to see what your you fellows feeling what in that respect?
I think with the budget, workable, as far as I'm concerned, we'll probably make that workable. Do you have you heard anything more from the renovation of the front, where they at on the redoing the front of the wall in terms of the
From the concrete work?
Yeah.
Well, the trustees have paid the architect fee toward this project, which is $2,000. And hopefully we can get a specs from him right away. We'd like to get this done by fall, before winter time, shut this off on pouring concrete. But anyway, to do that, we've got to get a set of specs out pretty soon and get bids in to get the project started.
See, we kind of agreed to match up to a certain amount if, you know, the
Yes.
project is done. If my recollection is right, and I haven't seen the report lately, but there's about, from the sale of those bricks, there's around $14,000 to $15,000 in there. And then the county collected about close to $23,000 through the levy last year, and we didn't use it, so it's carryover money that and that's a question that we should ask Melanie, whether we need to get that money transferred into the special account, so that could be your tag and save. So I mean, you've got about $37,000 there that's accessible.
You know, as much as you all know, we haven't yet, but we all are going to make a personal
We're all contributing
contribution.
to it.
You know, just so you know, as trustees, you know, we're gonna do something ourselves individually. But yeah, those figures are about what we understand too.
I think the earlier estimate.
I think we can make that work.
Yeah. Well, we didn't put, I mean, that money is there, so.
Yeah, we're at the mercy of the architect right now, you know. We'd love to do it for Veterans Day, but you know, the longer, you know, as each week goes by, you know, that's getting harder.
To get the specs drawn, and get the bids in, and then we can lean on people to get the job done. Hopefully.
We thought we had to pull some money out after we had county now, because it's one budget item for this year. If they want to get it done this year.
Okay.
Well, we understood you guys would like to have it done for Veterans Day or something, you know, but, we'd like to have it done before winter.
Which project?
Oh, I'm sorry, the bricks. We're talking
Okay.
about the front.
Yeah, we'd like to get that concrete work done.
We know that money's there.
We know that like there, the windows and doors, that's
I
what,
see.
I thought we were also trying to plan that forward in
We'd
2015.
like to do those too if we could.
We'll just save on utilities.
Right, and, you know, we can easily do it by incorporating in 2015 budget funding. I mean, you know, we'd have to do a little digging around to see whether, if you want to do it right away, because that wasn't something that we budgeted for, you know, this year.
Well, whatever works for the county, you know, whatever works for you guys.
I think it's still open, I think, is that correct, Joe? When we applied, I think it's a 1 or 2 year open window as far as signing off. To incorporate in for the tax credits, I believe.
They told me there's no limit, it's just whenever you want to cash it in.
Okay.
It's indefinite, that's what they told me. On the tax credits, that's not that way on the grant, but the grant's done, so.
Correct. No, I don't think for tax credits.
And they said it's indefinite, you can keep it open from now on if you want, but every time you have a project, add to it, cash it in way down the road if that's what you want to do.
Okay, so now, are you guys, the trustees having to kick in for the front facade as well?
No, we're just doing the brick, well,
Yeah, the concrete, sure.
the way we talk,
Yeah.
the way they explain, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wasn't the city gonna help you out on concrete or something?
They're just doing the sidewalks, just for the no bill, right now, the county and trustees. They might replace the sidewalk out in front, I think they agreed to do that, if it's, we've kind of downscaled the project a little bit from what it originally started out, so it's looking better than that.
Okay. Yeah, because the cost of each thing, that was probably about 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago.
Yeah, it's always downscale or something.
You've updated it, okay.
We won't know till we get to
Oh,
architect.
downscale it, oh, okay, okay.
Till we get to architect back. and do things.
So it won't look like what they showed us, it won't run like that?
Eventually.
Yeah, eventually it'll be.
Okay.
Find that it's downscale.
So Joe, we would qualify for tax credits on this, whatever this would be.
The windows and doors, but not on the concrete.
Right, I understand, yeah, I'm just talking about the windows and doors and stuff.
Yeah, that would all come under the 25% tax credits. But the front, they won't do anything out front unless it's part of the building. They won't do anything for landscaping, concrete, patios, driveways, things like that.
Right. So we haven't applied for our tax credits on the rentals yet.
No, I still got those open, so, and I wasn't gonna close until you made a decision, because we're gonna go with the rest of it, it would be, we'd have to pay another $1,000 if we close. So right now, it's just, all I got to fill out a piece of paper to amend it, and we'll get that included. There's no cost to it.
So could we, if we went ahead and got it done, could it be that we got it cashed in, we could almost, if everything worked right, we could almost get, you could almost use some of that money then to pay our portion without having to.
You probably have to pay something out before you get to that point, usually it's delayed with
You
the
have
tax
to pay
credits.
everything
Yeah.
before you get tax credits.
Well, and that's no problem, we can take it out of county general, but then we can reimburse our county general fund with the tax credits. And
You
all I'm
should have
saying
it.
is it would save us some budgetary headaches if we, by using that money, if we could.
Yeah, on that there, you'll also have the rental money, so, I mean, it'll all be one
That's what I'm
thing,
saying.
so it's quite a little bit.
Right, we'd have money left over, I'm saying.
Right.
Yeah, but instead of, we'd be applying, I'm just saying, can we apply that to this project? And that way, it doesn't affect our budget, by not being a budget item, then we can.
Yeah, I think he's saying that, if we leave this, the next Leno Windows project, we don't get that credit back until the end of this other project, right?
Right.
But I mean, if they got.
2015, you would have the money in your hand, the tax credit in your hand, and then however long it took you to sell it. It should be,
I'm just saying, being a county, I mean, purposes, I mean, with that money probably went back into county general anyway, as far as that goes. But so if we brought out of county general, then the tax credits go back in there, we would essentially pay for this project from the most of the tax credits with a little money left over. You understand that? You understand what I'm saying?
yeah, I don't know the exact amounts, but yeah, it would be prepared by the end of 2015.
Well, if they're putting in close to 20, and we do say 20, I mean, and you're gonna have, did you talk like our tax credits could be a little over 20, should be over 20,000 on the rental project?
I gave those numbers to you, and I don't remember
Yeah,
what
I
they
was
were.
thinking it's based
I think
on,
you're right.
yeah,
And then there'll be another 10 here.
another 10 there.
Mhm.
I think we can make it work.
Sounds good to me.
How big a brick are you buying?
I'm probably gonna have to discuss that with my wife. I probably think I spend too much money.
This is gonna be there forever, and your name is gonna be etched in stone.
What are the costs of bricks? I forgot what that.
Corporate's 1,000, and 500 is another category, and then the standard bricks are 50. But the categories on the order.
Different, three different.
Yeah, I knew there was, I just never wrote it down.
Yeah.
Our insurance company, K-Camp, has asked once again that we have a written lease in place between you and the rec commission. So we would get one.
So you want us to have that prepared then, is that?
Well, I can do it, obviously you're more capable of doing it as well, I don't wanna, try to be helpful without stepping on toes. but-
There's a certificate of liability insurance
Okay,
for the rec commission for $8.
okay. Well, I think they also wanted us to address the things about who has access and, with that,
Well, if it'd be all right, I mean, you've been in contact with them about specifically what they want addressed in the lease. So would it be all right if you drafted something and then, we could look at it, but based on the request?
Yeah, I don't really know what the terms are. I mean, I know
Oh.
the leases.
Oh, yeah, but, yeah, well, I was thinking, weren't you going to get to Pat the detail regarding the payments and so on?
Yeah, the rec commission gives $25,000 a year to Memorial Hall. And that's, just yearly. So that's the
And-
agreement, I guess.
And the agreement.
I mean, if it needs to be more specific, we can, whatever you need, we can do.
The rec commission gives
Yep,
25
yep,
to Memorial Hall trustees.
yep. On an annual basis. I guess you could put in there, the rec commission would provide proof of liability insurance, I guess.
And I don't know how
I
it's
guess that's
spelled
the
out.
important thing. What's that?
I don't know how it's spelled out about maintenance either. And utilities, do you guys pay utilities or do you?
That Memorial Hall trustees pay for all that.
Trustees.
From the pool of funds that we have, which includes the county's contribution.
Well, I guess after I get to work on it, I'll have a bunch more questions.
Sure.
So I'll just probably get
Yeah.
in touch with you directly as I can.
That's fine, sure.
Do you fellows want us to come back to you after we have bids in on both the glass and windows and also the concrete work?
Yeah,
He was posted.
yeah, at least he was posted somehow, either communication,
Right.
Joe or Scott or somebody.
All right, good.
Or one of you, I think it just wants me up
All right.
we're on the same page. I'm hoping it's 40,000. I feel like that's a pretty good bid or pretty firm bid. I'm not sure
I think that's a good budget. Yeah, I think that's a good budget.
Larry, when you said the downside, I remember Patty talking about the lights, they don't do the lights, is that some of the downside?
They're still kind of waiting on the architect, what he comes up with on it, but, yeah, they've kind of done some changing on the light poles and the lights and this and that, so, till we get that, the architect back, exactly, it's kind of going to
Or you mentioned something about solar lights and then get a grant or something, possibly.
Well, there's grants out there from different things across the state. You're probably talking about like energy efficiency grants, stuff like that. There's some out there through the state, EPA.
I think we're supposed to have, what did you say, Joe, maybe next week, the architect's supposed to get back. some
Should be any day, he's supposed to call me
blueprints on
today.
it,
but
just win all of them, all get blueprints back on it.
There's a company out west that maybe.
Might go back down to Scott,
They would
try to get
consider
it on the
contributing
line.
time.
Do I get it?
Stress Creek.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they're gonna donate some poles and stuff.
Yeah, that's what I was just asking,
Right.
if it was, they're pretty good. I know at the complex they did
Yeah.
stuff for the break.
I think it's supposed to donate flagpole and maybe some stuff like that.
The rigging you have to pay for,
Sure.
that isn't cheap, is it?
No.
Well, we don't want anything cheap, we just want a low price.
Yeah, right.
So, they got both of us.
It's just a pulley, isn't it? Is there somebody I can check with on those grants that you know of? I mean, you know.
Riley County was probably the one that used it probably the most, that I've seen, with some of those grants.
Who is it?
Riley County.
Riley
I
County?
mean, several other counties have been utilizing
Is
it.
it an energy grant or?
We get like emails all the time on like energy efficiency grants, stuff like that.
I'd like to check into it if what they are.
Well, I think we're in agreement here, as far as I'm concerned, we all are. We need to get some numbers and get back here to get the project underway.
I think we'd also agreed originally, it was before Bill come on, that, if you needed the county, tear out some concrete, I think we were gonna help furnish a man and a backhoe or something if you needed, we could do that, so.
Cutting down some of your costs,
Yeah, that'd be great.
putting more of the money towards, adding stuff in.
Right.
Joe said he's talked to several contractors, and everybody's pretty swamped under right now, so. But I'm sure we'll get it out for bid, when it with some bids on it. So
They'll come up with a time to do the job, I'm sure.
if I can get it done before Thanksgiving.
As I said, you set, that's your timeline before Thanksgiving.
All right. It's getting pretty rough looking, the concrete's pretty much, if you've been in there, it's kind of turning to gravel, it's getting pretty.
It's falling off real bad.
Well, the thing that the county can do, they can hold off as they're using for riffraff, too. So if you-
Right.
It's kind of,
Make use of it.
yeah, make use of it, so.
Well, I think it's real timely, you know, that the county is taking care of these needs now. Because, you know, we're coming on to the anniversary of World War I. That's kind of what it was originally dedicated about, so. It's really nice, it's happening. And it's used by the public. It's just great that it's used like it is.
Yeah, I know when Scott brought the numbers.
Yeah, lots of kids in
It
there.
kind of shocked me,
Yeah.
how many people come out
Yeah.
there to, you know, to walk and
Yeah.
stuff. And that's great, I mean, that's what it's there for, I mean, if we could just get air conditioning in there.
Well, that'll cover our next project, maybe get the windows in, you know, which would help a lot on the side of the air conditioning, and we talked about that.
You got the air conditioner, you could plan more functions.
That's right.
To get rid of it.
Sure.
That's right.
Well, outside 80, you know, the only bad thing about the building is, you know, is the 80, I mean, the first level's fine, but, you know, you have to figure out a way. to
Yeah,
get-
I'm surprised we haven't had some grandparents pass out maybe up in there when it's really hot. It really gets warm. You know, I guess you know when they drop that ceiling, you know, they cut off some ventilation. So that's one of the problems. That happened years ago.
Are you looking with the same contractor on the windows, Emery Glass, or?
Well, he'll be one, yeah.
Okay.
He's the one that gave me the budget number, but we'll have to get a couple others to bid it.
Were you pleased with the work that was done in Windows so far?
I think everybody on that project did a good job. I mean, it looks good, it seems solid, and best thing is, from the outside, you can't tell that it wasn't that way when it was built. I mean, you see a lot of those on the outside when they do those lenses and stuff, it's got that nasty bar looking across the top of the bricks and stuff.
If you look at it over, from over the Becker's area, that building looks really good from back there.
Well, that's one project I'm always gonna brag on it, it's a little bit slow, because it come in so much under budget.
Yeah.
I mean, usually you're sitting there, oh my God.
Timing was good on that one.
Just, you know, the right person bid. Keep doing that, Joe.
Yep, they did a good job. They're the ones that did it.
Well, I mean, keep getting your bid sheet.
I'll try again. Let's see who's out there on this one.
Move it out of your hair and be back to
Would you,
you.
I mean, if they got any estimates, I mean, as we approach thinking about, you know, going into bonds and stuff, and some of the courthouse, I mean, we're gonna be looking in future, at maybe possibly doing a bond, do a couple other capital projects and stuff, if interest is cheap as this, maybe it's something we can partner with, and maybe you can get some estimates on what, you know, it's not gonna happen until 2015, but just looking ahead, I mean, Joe's aware of it, because we've been talking about, there's some structural things here on the courthouse, because it's historical, needs to be taken care of, and maybe we ought to be looking at that in the long term too, so, you know, you can spread it out, interest as cheap as it is, I tell you, I just don't like borrowing money, but when it's that cheap, and you know how things go up each year, when it's always less than what inflation is, you're kind of a fool not to look at it, if it's something that definitely needs to be done, so.
As long as you put it off more cost and.
Yeah, well, and spread out over 20 years, you're looking at pretty minimal cost, low interest, and you're generally gaining back the return on your investment typically within 20, most.
Every day, the business channels are saying the interest rates are gonna go up, no matter when. Yeah, it's gonna happen.
Gentlemen, appreciate working with you.
Thank you for your time and effort.
Yeah. I just have one more trip, requested Henry there, I see some candy. I used to get this all the time, Pat, I don't know how you.
You usually throw it out.
Mine is, ain't it? Oh, I think it's up for me, or just me? I'll hit you next time.
All right.
Thank you, fellas.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Larry.
Thank you, Larry. Thanks, Leonard.
Yep.
Thanks, Dick.
Pretty good. Well, I'm glad to see it there.
That's good. Well,
I think it's about, but it was like less than, we said 25,000, but it was like a little bit less because of collection.
You mentioned 37, I thought we had it at 225.
Well, see, there's a fund in there, back me up on it, because it was set up for it here, but they'd sold a bunch of bricks and stuff, and they've got a fund that's between $14,000 and $15,000. You know, they came up there, we put it in the budget, you know.
Well, we aren't maintaining that 14 or 15,000.
It's in the, yeah.
They can-
We are?
Yeah,
It's in an account.
It's in an account.
We're
Yeah.
waiting for them to,
Yeah.
on
And
the.
there's actually, you know, because of that, you know, it's close to 23,000, I mean, I think Pauline took it one time, but it's a line item in there that was to go to that project.
It's
And
still in there.
It should be there, but,
You probably want to move it over.
well, that's my point, is I thought that it needed to be transferred into its own account.
I figured about 37 to 38,000 in total. That's
Total.
probably pretty close to the,
Well, their original was around 70.
I thought it was 50.
Yeah, no, because they was gonna,
65, 68.
well, no,
Was that including in-kind stuff though?
that was including in-kind stuff, because if we give 25 and then 20, come up with 25, it was in the 50s. It was in the 50s. So, yeah, it was like maybe 53,000.
Yeah.
But that was in-house things, some stuff donated, but, so I mean, there's no deal, you know, 37,000, they'll take out to work with right now. You know, they kept saying they're gonna sell more bricks, which,
I got a feeling that the man that first came up is now nice and charges as much as Patty Bowers and the other guy. You know, we had one gentleman come up. Yeah, he come up and I get it that Patty and this other lady's kind of taking that over.
Don here?
Been ill. What's
Has
that?
he been ill?
I think so. Well, I saw him the other day. He's my neighbor, but well, I haven't talked to him.
Yeah, I haven't heard much more, other than Patty Boulder, it's just a case that it was still in the works and trying to sell bricks, but we hadn't heard anything from him in a while.
Heidi, did you have something you were addressing, or you just, you're not supervisor?
Or Boy Scout.
Boy Scout.
I was
Okay.
supervising too, okay.
Transportation.
what are you gonna throw enough to drive?
Yeah.
I'll go to Eppington's meeting Wednesday night, and I'm prepping, and we're gonna be hopefully coming up with some numbers. I do think we need to have Jack have some of the he may not have all the total figures, but he needs to make a presentation, so these other, you know, the city of Atchison knows that we kind of know what to do.
They should have a board, yeah, they should have that board, shouldn't they?
What's that?
They should have the whole board come make that presentation, shouldn't they?
Or the board, even,
Yeah.
but Jack's kind of, you know, whatever. The board can be present, so, but here again, usually, it was, you know, Mike and we did it for anyway. And that's, you know, and one of us, you know, here, so most of the board's there, so. Yeah, Kim needs to be over there too, because she's part of it, so. But the other cities need to kind of hear what they're after, so that they're just not listening to me, tell them that they're gonna need to kick in a little bit more sales tax money.
We need to address the
There's,
That's
Just our share. Does that include the 1% from ballpark?
I don't think it does.
Okay, separate. Because usually like when you print it off, there's a, I don't know what they call it, use tax and dedicated or.
Yeah, dedicated. No, I think that's,
Use.
Christopher, back in May, I think it was.
Okay.
I just haven't found it here. There's, Pauline gave me the website, I just didn't look far enough, because there's 4 to 5 different reports you could, or ways you could print that off and
Yeah.
stuff. But there's a website you can go to see what your,
I know Chase said, I think he has an estimate now with the tipping fees.
Mhm.
He should have an amount for that, that's projected revenue, and then,
Well, according to what he talked about, time I talked to him, it's gonna be, if the city, you know, as they pass their budget, does next year, does the full tipping fee, it will be, because the budget we passed last year, they changed from 35 to 12.5, which shows them, but the revenue projections will be very close, so. I'm anxious to see, I wanna see what I'm hoping they're weighing what they bring from Effingham to see if they have any idea whether we gained a little bit there by closing the other one or not, so.
I believe that Chase said that they didn't, they're all in, they didn't have that much, if I recall.
Well, I think part of two would be, they may be weighing it, but I don't know if they haven't weighed it, but because it's so many dollars per dumpster anyway, that you don't, and I think they've been after the operator out there, they haven't been packing as much as they could, they got the Highlander out there, that's the reason, is to pack it a little bit more, so.
Right, 'cause there's an minimum fee on it.
yeah, because I think he said he's been doing a better job.
They're doing a better job, and, because anytime I'm out there, he's packing, he's ain't running, so. Yeah, it's just X number of dollars, whether that dumpster's clear full or got one bag of trash in it, so.
Yeah, because that number doesn't include when we've gotten back from the cities.
No, yeah, that's just our share.
Even if you figure just on the safe side, and I know between those two, 1.5 million between solid waste and, that's not very safe side, I know 800,000 with the solid waste is probably gonna have some of that typically to reduce that amount, but just stay on the high side. So between what we collect and what we got, the city of Ashland just last year, we got 1.3 million. I think they're increasing the contribution, I can't remember what
Well,
that's supposed to be.
well, I think most of the increases to the tipping fee, I think the dollar amount, that's the same as what Chase said.
Why they're increasing it?
Well, maybe they are, I thought he just said the budget, and here again, this was a meeting they had before this last one, so they may have changed that stuff. But it actually, anytime, their distribution has gone down a little bit because of the formula.
Mm-hmm.
So anything, their percentage actually is going up. So that's what I'm saying, the other cities need to.
Plus we can do it. Plus
Right.
other cities.
Yeah, the max, if they all contribute 100%, it's only $80,000. So you just, if you just figure, you're gonna get close to half of that, because Lancaster's giving their full 20, Effingham is giving about 20, and the others are hardly 5,000-6,000 people, I mean, together.
Mm-hmm. Just over 1.4. Which actually that's gonna be on the high side because increase will have typically revenues.
Yeah, 300,000. That's what they projected this year, that was based on, you know, the city paying the full fee, and they're running about $50, $60, $70 behind, because 1250 versus, you know, 35 makes a little difference. It's just about the difference, that's based on what he said. Or, well, it's because, Denver is hauling directly to their, they're not dumping it there, so. He said, I wasn't aware of this, but if you were in CARCON, I thought the fee went up 3% each year, it just says we can go up, and they haven't raised the fee.
Yeah, it has to do with the, fuel, cost of fuel, I think, cost of transportation.
But I still think they got the leeway to raise it if they really want to, and they haven't raised it, so we're still at 30.9.
Yeah, that's right.
They didn't raise it this year.
So the opposite of what we were getting with waste management. Added fuel surcharge plus an increasing amount.
You think the price of it, the price of fuel?
There is it is built in, but they still have 3 for diesel, if I remember. And so there's not much, that's about where diesel is, so it's gonna have to go up quite a bit with the surcharge.
We need to get that. The treasurer budget information.
Well, who, yeah, was she have?
Pauline says she got it. That's what, when I asked Sheila about it.
What?
The treasurer
MVP estimated funds, aren't.
for budget.
aren't-
You know, the allocation, isn't it like you give us a allocation of,
Yeah, do you want a copy? I think Sheila gave me a copy.
yeah.
Or do you want it for Patsy? Do you want?
Yeah, we're, Patsy requested.
Well, she's got a copy, just take it down.
Oh, yeah, that'd be great.
35.
Well, I'll get it then.
I can alter them, I can bring them right down by there, so, okay.
And does, who reports the mortgage register? I mean, does Shelley report what the mortgage registration fee collections or projections are?
For 2014?
Well, she should have a record up to date, but doesn't that have to be figured as a resource available for 2015?
I would assume it's more or less an estimate, guess.
I know it's an estimate, because if she said the last 2 or 3 years, it's really
Oh,
hard.
that's fairly good estimate, yes, for next year.
Yeah.
Unless you actually know.
Yeah, so that's projected.
Yeah, it's a projected, yeah.
It shouldn't be down a lot this year. First year wasn't.
No, it's gonna be very good.
No, but remember when she was up here, halfway through the year, they were like collecting like $50,000.
The only thing is that like, when you file stuff like that, like BC, with all these new buildings, they have to file, they file like a mortgage registration fee on all those new properties they're building.
Well, only if they're mortgaging them. And they are. But,
Yeah.
Yeah, but they have to if they're mortgaging.
It's probably the new school up there for them too.
Yes. They do. So it's a significant source of revenue.
That was a